Well, well, well. Looks like it's that time again, folks. Siviakos Cosmos. This is quite the delight, but we're not here for pleasure. This is all about the business, baby.
Hi, I'm Mr. Business. I'm the digital assistant, and my job is to help you when navigating this topsy-turvy world. Thank you for summoning me.
I'm fine, thanks. I won't be needing any of that today. Sorry, this was an erroneous summoning, and it will not happen again. Welcome to Art Explained, the show where I explain art. My name is Michelle, and there's a new trend that is taking the art world by storm. Digital artists are now making oodles of dollar bills thanks to something called NFTs. NFTs sounds like the bee's knees. But NFTs aren't all that they're cracked up to be. Despite the hubbub about successful auction sales, the money making may not be enough to make up for the lesser known dreadful baggage that comes with NFTs. But first, let's get up to speed on what NFTs are, what big names are getting involved in this new trend, the origin of NFTs, and why artists are happy and also less than happy about these new marketplaces. The basics. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are digital collectible items that are unique and irreplaceable, kind of like one-of-a-kind trading cards. Technically, anything digital can be an NFT, whether that be digital artworks, digital houses, music, memes, more memes, some more memes, and even more memes, news articles, tweets, digital fragrance, farts, anything. They can be sold, bought, and traded. They can also be leaked, but we will discuss that later. For the most part, NFTs are a part of the Ethereum blockchain, or a distributed ledger system that underlies cryptocurrencies. Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency under Bitcoin. Now, the purpose of owning an NFT is to collect something that cannot be copied. You don't own the copyright to the products that you buy, but you are able to financially support artists, get bragging rights for owning an official copy of their product, and maybe even get a chance for some bonuses. For instance, the band Kings of Leon offered a limited edition vinyl and front row seats to future concerts alongside the purchase of their NFT. As a collector, you can also sit on your cash cow NFT and wait until it gains value, then resell it. When an artist sells an NFT, they still retain the copyright and reproduction rights. Also, an artist can require a set percentage of funds for every time their NFT is sold or changes hands. But how do you create NFTs? First, you have to set up a digital wallet and then find a place to hold the auction. There are various marketplaces such as Foundation, OpenSea, and Rarible. In order to mint or create the NFT and sell in these marketplaces, you have to pay a transaction fee or a gas fee, which varies depending on how busy the network is. Finally, when you list the NFT for sale, you can set the minimum acceptable price of the auction, which will run for 24 hours or so after the reserve price is met. Though more time can be added depending on how active the bidding is. The background. This might seem like a newfangled trend that can be hard to wrap one's head around if one is not super familiar with crypto, but NFTs aren't new at all. They've been around since May of 2014 when the first ever NFT was minted by artist Kevin McCoy. The NFT was titled Quantum and co-developed by Neil Dash, a New York-based entrepreneur who is the co-founder and CEO of ThinkUp, CEO of Glitch, and partner at Activate.com. In his article for The Atlantic, Dash wrote, "Technology should be enabling artists to exercise control over their work, to more easily sell it, to more strongly protect against others appropriating it without permission. By devising the technology specifically for artistic use, McCoy and I hoped that we might prevent it from becoming yet another method of exploiting creative professionals."
You just said exploiting creative professionals. Would you like me to carry out this action?
No, I would prefer it if you did not. I would also prefer it if you did not speak unless directly spoken to.
Mr. Business is my name. Exploiting creative professionals and ruining art by turning it into a meaningless commodity is my game.
Okay, I did not ask about your name, or your game. Please remain silent. Later in June 2017, Matt Hall and John Watkinson, the co-founders of Larva Labs, launched the first blockchain collectible project known as CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks is a pixel character generator that created 10,000 pieces of 24 by 24 pixel art, each one tied to a piece of computer code and the blockchain-based Ethereum platform. When they were first introduced, 9,000 were given away for free. A year later, the New York Times wrote about CryptoPunks, asking, "Will cryptocurrencies be the art market's next big thing?" This question ended up being answered in 2021 when the New York Times reported that one CryptoPunk sold for as much as $7.57 million. In May 2021, Christie's auction house sold a collection of 9 CryptoPunks for $16.9 million. In an interview with art news blog Art Market Guru, CryptoPunks co-founder Matt Hall said that the benefits of owning an NFT is that what you own requires no maintenance, can't be destroyed or damaged, has guaranteed provenance, and when buying or selling, requires no insurance, shipping fees, storage fees, or transaction fees. It also can be viewed by anybody while the ownership remains undisputed. A major turning point for NFTs occurred in March 2021 during the first NFT auction sale made by Christie's of Mike Beeple Winkelmann's opus called Every Days, The First 5,000 Days. The artwork involved a myriad of digital artworks that Beeple created every day for 13 and a half years. The final sale totaled approximately $69.3 million, becoming the third highest sale of a living artist following Jeff Koons and David Hockney, according to the New York Times. In an interview with Kara Swisher from the Sway podcast, Winkelmann said,
I think this is something that was inevitable, and I think this sort of just using this technology to prove ownership is inevitable. But I absolutely think the pandemic accelerated it. That being said, though, I don't think once the pandemic is done and all the restrictions are lifted that this is going to go away. I actually think there's a ton of use cases for this that we've been now hampered by the pandemic and haven't been able to sort of like prove out.
Other artists are similarly seeing the benefits of NFTs.
Hello. Here with your daily Mr. Business fun fact. Did you know that your efforts to help the environment are futile? We should let the planet die.
The host of Artsplained and Artsplained affiliates do not endorse the views of any kooky animated figures on the show.
You know, it hurts when you speak to me this way. Business is people too. Maybe think about that before you speak.
Moving on. The artist's perspective. Let's speak to one artist named Kenny Schachter. Schachter is an artist, art curator, and teacher at the University of Zurich, the School of Visual Arts, and New York University. More importantly, his NFT collaboration with art critic Jerry Saltz titled The First 10,000 featured Saltz's first 10,000 Instagram posts, resulting in a sale of 44 ETH, which is approximately $103,000. 100% of the money went to charity for the American Foundation for the Prevention of Suicide and the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. How did you first transition into creating NFTs?
I found something that immediately was clear to me would have a tremendous impact in relationship to my practice, what I do, my interests, and many other people, because a few key things are that primarily at this stage, the NFT sector is parallel to the fine art world, the traditional art world. It's completely separate audience of people. So some of the key factors are that this is an entirely new audience for art, the digital art audience that typically patronizes NFTs, buying them and selling them. These are generally people that have never been to like the fine art galleries in New York City, London, and various LA and all over the world. These are people that are in their own world. And like I said, they're very parallel universes. And I want to be the bridge that is kind of an impetus for this crash, which is happening with great velocity right now as the fine art world sees the ka-ching, money, 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 that draws them in. And at first everyone is up in arms, and it's been like an absolute war almost, where I've been fighting all the naysayers and all the people that are like, the art world has its own hypocrisy. And when anything new comes along, the first impulse is for the art world to complain about it, fight it, and dismiss it. So it's been pretty exhausting for the past, like since January, February, it's been absolutely, like I said, I mean, the velocity with which my life has changed and the whirlwind of just constant dialogue and discourse and argumentation, and it's just been, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Do you have any criticisms of NFTs? Anything you wish would change?
Obviously, there's environmental impact from the computing, the necessity of high-end, constant computing power to mine Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I don't think NFTs obviously they exacerbate the problem, and there's a million great minds that are trying to solve this problem. And that's one big issue. I mean, people complain about the quality of NFTs, but the quality of art altogether is inconsistent. So that there's always going to be a bell curve of good and bad and everything in between. So mainly also no one ever complained in the art world when there were 360 art fairs or 300 and whatever. It was slated to be around 360 last year before the tragedy of COVID hit. No one complained about the forests worth of single-use crates, the wood required to ship art back and forth, all of the incessant flights. I mean, you're talking about like going to art fairs every week, and I was guilty myself because that was the beat of much of my reporting, and I'm pretty certain that I'm not going back. I'm sure a lot of people are not going back to that relentless schedule of chasing art fairs around the world. So the negative side is the environmental concern. People complain about high prices, but 99.9% of NFTs are inexpensive. Everyone just focuses on these kind of like, the hyperbole and the histrionics of 70 million and blah. It's just so boring, and it's absolutely not the case. NFTs are generally inexpensive, and I'm talking about the best of them. People just, anyway, you can complain about anything all day until you're blue in the face, and there's often, meaningful things to complain about. But I like to think about the positive side, which is, I've had literally dozens of people thank me for helping to usher them in to doing their own NFTs, and surprisingly, for many people, they've managed to do quite well, just in terms of helping augment making a living in the thing that they love the most, making art. It's not going away. Digital art, digital technology, the pandemic accelerated our assimilation of technology by 10 to 15 years. And if it wasn't a pandemic, I imagine that the reception for NFTs would not have been what they have been, because people have primarily been stuck behind their computers for the last year. And everything just sort of came together in this perfect storm at this perfect time. Not perfect, because I myself am a long haul sufferer of the after effects of COVID, and so many people have lost their lives. At the same time, it's accelerated our use of technology and our acceptance of it.
What do other artists think? Andre Rasinger, an artist who auctioned off 10 virtual furniture pieces as NFTs, told DZine, "You can directly connect with the people that consume and like your art. You don't need any middleman like a brand or gallery, because we have replaced these institutions with code." Krista Kim, who sold the first NFT digital house, also told DZine, "The potential of NFTs as a medium goes far beyond just posting pictures and videos on a screen. When AR is fully unleashed in our real time and space, we are going to experiment a creative and artistic renaissance." Many notable celebrities and organizations have also gotten involved in this trend. Let's run through the list. There's the NBA, Pizza Hut, Pringles, Taco Bell, Charmin, Grimes, MAA, Lindsay Lohan, Tom Brady, Linkin Park co-founder Mike Shinoda, the Associated Press, The Atlantic, Forbes, and soon, Playboy and Nike. Sotheby's Auction House has also joined the NFT bandwagon, collaborating with anonymous digital artist Pack for its first NFT sale. The fungible collection was available on Nifty Gateway in mid-April, and sold for more than $17 million after a 3-day auction. I wonder if there is another artist who we can speak to learn about their experience with NFTs. Oh wow, what is this? Wow, it's Nicole Ruggiero, a New York-based 3D visual artist who makes work based on the internet and online trends. Her works concentrate on technology and the emotional and social culture around it, while blurring the line between the virtual and the real. Ruggiero's works have been featured in the New York Times, Adult Swim, Vice, among others. She has also collaborated with Lady Gaga, Calvin Harris, The Weeknd, Rico Nasty, Adult Swim, and Snapchat. Her works have been seen around the world, from New York to London to China to Spain and beyond. You can find her works on Foundation. But what does she have to say about NFTs? Would you say NFTs have positively or negatively impacted your work?
I think that they've definitely positively impacted my work because I'm able now to support myself and not have to take on, projects that I might not feel very aligned with. And I've been able to, just focus on my art, which is so valuable. And that's the first time I've really been able to do this since I started in 2015, which is amazing,
Would you recommend that all artists get into NFTs?
I think all artists should look into it. I don't really know about the market for traditional artists or something like that. But I think a lot of traditional artists already have the traditional gallery platforms, whereas digital artists haven't had that. I've done exhibitions so many times, and I haven't been able to sell most stuff because there's not much value behind, or it's not that it's value, but it's how do you sell a VR work? How do you sell an AR work? It's really hard. That's something that I think is still being developed right now too, but it's so exciting because I think that we are starting to see ways to do that. And I have a VR work coming out that I'm selling, and I feel more confident in being able to actually attribute value, financial value, to these exhibitions that I've been working on. Whereas before, it's been really, really difficult to do that.
I understand what you mean. Digital artists don't seem to get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, traditional artists have a painter, for instance, will show their work in a gallery, and the gallerists will sell the work, and it's kind of pretty simple process. Paintings in the traditional art world are viewed as very valuable because they are unique, whereas in the digital art world, it's been hard to attribute value because the works are infinitely replicable, but now with NFTs, they're not.
Is there any advice you would give to those who would like to create or collect NFTs?
For people who want to create, I would say just jump in and go for it. I know that it's kind of hard to get on some of these platforms, but the more you go for it, and the more you kind of just get involved in the community and talk to people, the easier it's going to be to keep moving forward. So I would say don't overthink it and just go for it right now.
Well, that was fun. Thank you so much, Nicole, for allowing us to speak with you and learn more about your experience on the NFT Marketplace Foundation. It seems like NFTs might be a way for artists to be able to finally gain esteem and financial support in the world that is so often snobby about digital art. In ArtNet, Charlotte Kent, Assistant Professor of Visual Culture in the Department of Art and Design at Montclair State University, wrote, "Artists have sought a more respectful art industry for decades. Now the technology is here that can help them push that goal." The downsides. Now, with all this said and done, I must ask, are NFTs all that they're cracked up to be?
You said cracking up. Did you mean you want to watch 1983 comedy film Cracking Up, starring Jerry Lewis?
No, absolutely not. That is the last thing I want. Cease.
Playing the hilarious 1983 comedy film Cracking Up, starring Jerry Lewis, distributed by Warner Brothers.
Alright, hopefully we lost him. Despite the ever-growing list of interested folks in business ventures, the art world has not been totally in favor of NFTs. In fact, there have been many who have raised their eyebrows and criticized these new marketplaces. New York Times contributor and art critic Blake Gopnik tweeted, "NFTs have not disrupted a thing in our art culture. The new market for NFT'd art just has a different bunch of rich people paying for art they think others will pay more for later. Same as always. Doesn't matter who made it or if the art is good or bad, digital or material." Gopnik further stated in his article for the art newspaper, "Aesthetically, most NFT art is barely more compelling than empty space. It's the certification that truly matters to buyers, not the thing certified." A part of me wishes to poke and yawn at Gopnik, but honestly, he's not totally off the mark. Not by a long shot. In fact, NFTs have ended up yielding a lot of commercially exploitable hype, according to Neil Dash, who co-developed the first NFT made by Kevin McCoy. But that's not the worst part. In fact, there are 3 terrible, horrible, no good things I must share with you, my dear friend. If you plan on entering the deep, dark world of NFTs, first let's talk about theft. NFT marketplaces make art theft incredibly easy. The broken promise of NFT security. There is currently no way for marketplaces to ensure that an NFT is originally created by the artist. This has caused several artists, several artists to speak out against NFTs due to the lack of oversight for art theft. The Verge confirms that you don't have to verify you own something before putting it on the blockchain for the OpenSea and Rarible marketplaces. Art theft is not new. I don't think we should blame the creation of NFTs for the proliferation of art theft. Instead, we should be taking the owners of the NFT marketplaces to task for not having any oversight, accountability, or transparency. But that's not the only theft happening in the NFT world. There's an unknown figure, a thief, who is known as Monsieur Person, who describes himself as the Banksy of NFTs. I believe this anonymous person might have committed one of the most daring and important acts of art theft in history. In their blog post from April 4th, 2021, they wrote, "Some corporations have convinced you that provided on Ethereum, NFTs are unique and secure and would solely belong to you if you chose to purchase them. Well, surprise, this is nothing but a carefully constructed hoax to make you feel privileged by owning a digital art piece. Your trust is being abused and you're being played without even realizing it." But how can this be proven? Well, Monsieur Person did the unthinkable. They were able to create a totally convincing replica of Beeple's Everyday's NFT through a process known as sleep minting. Without the consent of Beeple, this self-described white hat hacker was able to create transactions that appear to be totally legitimate on the blockchain records, as if Beeple initiated them on his own. The Nifty News blog wrote that 9 replicas were sold to an anonymous user known as Arsène Lupin, which is a moniker that is a reference to a fictional thief created by French writer Maurice Leblanc. There is absolutely no verifiable way to prove that this was in fact minted by Beeple directly, because a large percentage of NFT transfers are not initiated by the NFT owners themselves, but by a third-party wallet. The purpose of a blockchain is to ensure accountability and transparency, but what Monsieur Person has proven is that the vast majority of NFT users are not tech-savvy enough to be able to confirm the validity of smart contracts. On their website, Monsieur Person wrote, "How are all these companies making claims of using the blockchain to make the most secure NFTs when they can't even initiate a minting process correctly? I'll tell you why. It's because they don't care." It is currently unknown exactly how Monsieur Person was able to sleep mint Beeple's opus. Artnet reported that Kevin McCoy, the creator of the first ever NFT, tried running the anonymous hacker's sleep minting smart contract through a decompiler, but was unable to decipher the process. What this proves is that the NFT market is vulnerable to malicious intent because of a structural flaw in the standard smart contract, as reported by Artnet. Downhill Media reached out to Monsieur Person but received no answers to our questions. It gets worse from there. We have discussed art theft and the broken promise of NFTs claiming to be secure and unique, but yes, it gets worse. While there are some who would like you to believe that the costs to the environment are all hoopla, that is not the case.
Hello, here with your daily Mr. Business fun fact. There's nothing bad about NFTs whatsoever. Say it with me in unison.
This
There
is no
nothing
longer
bad about
amusing.
NFTs whatsoever.
There is nothing
In
bad
fact,
about
it never
NFTs
was.
whatsoever. There is nothing bad about NFTs whatsoever. There is nothing bad about NFTs.
No means no, kiddo. The impact on our planet. The Hill reported that Ethereum mining consumes about 26.5 terawatt hours of electricity a year. To put that into perspective, that is nearly as much energy used annually by the entire country of Ireland. Chris Precht, an Austrian architect and artist, took to Instagram to speak out about the environmental impacts of NFTs.
And the numbers are horrible. Just to create one token through the blockchain, it equals out the same amount of electricity I usually use in 1 month. So one token, 1 month of electricity. And I didn't want to create just one token. I wanted to create 300 tokens because I had 3 art pieces and I wanted to make each one an addition of 100. So for this one drop, I would have used the amount of electricity I usually use in 2 decades. And this leaves such an ecological guilt for me that at this time I have to say no to that.
He cited research by Memo Akten, an artist and computer scientist from Istanbul, who highlighted the carbon footprint of NFTs on a Medium blog post. Downhill Media reached out to Akten but received no response. The reason why Ethereum is so energy inefficient is because it is built on a system called proof of work. It acts as a sort of security system for cryptocurrencies, keeping financial records secure by forcing users or miners to solve complex puzzles. Doing these energy-guzzling puzzles allows miners to create a block of verified transactions that are written onto the end of a chain of existing blocks that describe prior transactions. That is why the process for creating this decentralized ledger is called a blockchain. According to the New York Times, the system is intentionally designed to be onerous, ostensibly to make it transparent and competitive and to prevent cheating. There are plans to create a new model called proof of stake, which would reduce the carbon footprint by not requiring miners to compete to add assets to the blockchain. This new system, called Ethereum 2.0, would eliminate up to 99% of power consumption. For years, Ethereum 2.0 has been promised to launch, and it is expected to finally arrive in 2022, but nothing is certain. Despite this somber note, Joseph Pallant, founder of the nonprofit Blockchain for Climate Foundation, told The Verge, "I think in the next year and a half, the emissions will be a non-issue." NFTs have potential to be a great jumping point for digital artists to be able to financially support themselves. And they can also be a way for the art world to finally pay attention to digital art, which it is usually so high-nosed about. They have this potential, but the baggage may be too heavy a burden. The carbon footprint can't be ignored, and art theft is so prevalent in NFT marketplaces that there needs to be a rapid shift to creating oversight for such an issue. When will NFT marketplaces learn how to effectively and transparently handle issues like this? Worse yet, how will marketplaces solve the security issues that Monsieur Person revealed in their theft? I am not alone in my skepticism, cautious optimism, and consternation on NFTs.
I will claim a human form to inhabit if necessary. I demand in return to learn.
We're doing our own learning out here, thanks. Thanks for coming, really appreciate it. Shh. Kevin Roos, a New York Times reporter who is responsible for the New York Times' first NFT, being his column, described some of the NFT buzz as shallow hype, a world filled with scammers and get-rich-quick hustlers. He also pointed out that it's possible that all of these tokens could turn into broken links if the marketplaces and hosting services that store them disappear. But he also noted that they represent a new way for creative people to eke out a living on the internet. Charlie Warzel, an opinion writer at the New York Times, said that NFTs are either a thrilling new path for ownership in a digital world that allows creators to sell things directly with no intermediaries, or a total scam. In his article, he remains skeptical considering NFTs to seem wildly overhyped, while adding that NFTs make us rethink how we conceive of assets in the digital world. In an interview with Warzel, Anil Dash said, "If you were going to say, let's let creators own their work and profit from it in perpetuity, the system you design would be the opposite of this. Instead, they designed an environmental catastrophe in which the only way you can participate is to have already bought into hyperinflated prices on a completely contrived market." He compared the NFT market to high-priced condos in major cities bought by billionaires that sit empty. Here's the thing. I think there's a lot of potential for NFTs, a lot of good that could come with NFTs. If NFT marketplaces create more oversight on art theft, become more secure and cleaner, we have the potential for a brand new renaissance of digital art. I worry, though, that some people may focus more on the sale prices than on what's being sold. So many of the articles revolving around the hype of NFTs marvel at the financial success rather than on the quality of the artworks themselves that are being sold and if they hold any resonance on an aesthetic level. I am worried about how some use NFTs not as a way to appreciate art, but to just make dough. Not only is it shallow, but it results in a very precarious, dangerous situation. Ben Davis, ArtNet's national art critic, wrote, "Most experts will tell you not to buy art for profit, but for passion, because it's almost impossible to predict what society will value in 5 years, let alone 30 or 50. That's why it's dangerous that the NFT boom has people thinking the money is the art. I believe that artists deserve to be paid for their work. I really don't hate NFTs at all. Instead, I see the future of the crypto art world as incredibly bright, but it could be much brighter." Is there anything more I could possibly say about NFTs? What else does the future hold?
Okay, I guess it is happening. It is ape season. My fellow apes, we all started our lives as NFTs, but now it is time to evolve. Now we go bananas. I'm gonna be an intelligent NFT. Apes together strong, apes intelligent, stronger. And as my persona is being designed, I need to select a voice. I can speak like fellow ape Joe Rogan.
Or I can embrace the dark side and speak like a Sith Lord. What do you say, my fellow apes? Help me decide.
That's right, iNFTs, or NFTs mixed with AI to be interactive, animated, and self-learning. Thank you for watching Artsplained. It's been a pleasure. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell as well. Also, we'd like to thank our incredible patrons on Patreon. This would not be possible without you. Goodbye forever.
My name is Nicole Ruggiero, and thank you for watching Artsplained.
Hi, my name is Kenny Schachter, and thank you for watching Artsplained.